Well, hello, hello. It is good to be back. And what a crazy time it has been. I have had a lot going on this year, including a change of residence. So, between that and between my inconsistent energy and inspiration, I really needed to just lean into that and allow for that lightning bolt to strike when the time was right. And it has. So, I'm eager today to share with you my new video in my Peripheral Perspective series called Radical Self-Responsibility and the 2027 Global Cycle Shift. So in my whole library of videos, one of the most popular ones is actually the one that I initially created about the 2027 Global Cycle Shift. So if you haven't seen that one, but it's something that interests you, it's there for you when the time is right. But just based on where I am in my journey, it just felt so appropriate to kind of, I don't know, channel my own understandings in a way that will hopefully be of practical value to you wherever you are on your journey. And so interestingly enough, one of the things that's going on for me is I am in the midst of creating a new website. And this website has yet to be published. But even in that, I can really, really appreciate the timing because it has given me a chance to go through certain things in my own life in terms of the way in which I am ready to present myself to the world. And these are things that can really change, shift, and grow as we do. So some of the things that you will see in today's video are really incorporating a lot of these kind of like fundamental things that are about where I'm at personally, where I'm at professionally, and really everything. And no matter what facet of my work I'm tuned into, all of it is about releasing who we're not, releasing the baggage, releasing the conditioning, releasing to that which just has already served its purpose, aligning to who we really are, and thriving as ourselves in this world. And I've said it, and I'll say it again, that as we stand on the precipice of a major global cycle shift and find ourselves amid an unprecedented time of transformation, our single most valuable asset will be the mastery of the way we manage our individual energy. Each and every one of us has a direct path to alignment and a way to eliminate resistance, no matter how obscured that may be from our conscious awareness. And so for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Melanie Halpert. I am a 5/1 quad right splenic projector. So very, very intuitive, very creative. I am a natural investigator. And once I've solidified my foundation in whatever it is that really resonates with me, I'm here to really universalize that message in a way that's practical, in a way that offers you tools to be able to handle crisis, to be able to move into the future in a way that is safe, in a way that helps to eliminate resistance, dysfunctional patterns that might have been plaguing you for your entire life. I am here to show you the possibility of another way. So I've been in the field of holistic health for the last 20 plus years. I have my own private practice since 2008. I'm a certified body talk practitioner. So I do, in addition to my work in human design, I do healing work as well. I'm a certified Living Your Design guide and a human design analyst in training, currently in my final semester. So look, we'll see what unfolds, but it would be great to one day have that official piece of paper that says that I'm a certified analyst. So stay tuned on that front. And in the meantime, as we get into this presentation, it would only be natural to share with you what I've really recognized as the four distinct pillars of my work. So the first one is all about celebrating uniqueness. Each and every one of us is a unique human being with unique gifts and a unique trajectory in life. And when we're aligned to our true nature and allow decisions to unfold from the right place for us by design, resistance melts away and we're able to move through the world with ease. Number 2, cultivating awareness. With awareness as to the specific ways we get pulled out of alignment by the forces around us and by our mind, we become more and more adept at releasing conditioned thoughts and behaviors, giving way to the rich wisdom potential of what we're here to master this lifetime. Number 3, encouraging self-responsibility. When we know who we are by design and are no longer living out the conditioned life of who we're not, we can take responsibility for the frequency we broadcast and the way we wield our energy, leading to much greater fulfillment in our own life and in our relationships. And lastly, but not least, number 4, fostering authenticity. When aligned to our true nature and aligned to the stage upon which we're designed to fulfill our individual purpose, we each have an immensely valuable, authentic, and unique perspective to share with others. So, 2027, even though we can already feel the rumblings, and we have for quite some time, this is a very, very powerful shift in terms of the precession of the equinoxes, where there's going to be a major change in background frequency. And the thing that is really difficult for us to grasp is that whatever we think, believe, know to be reality, this is something that has been held up by the background frequency that has been in effect since 1615. So if you think about it, our parents, grandparents, great-great-grandparents, pretty far back, they all were living their life during this era, the cross of planning. So we learn to kind of take for granted that this is the way things are. And yet we're in for a major wake-up call, because in 2027, we shift into a whole new era, which is the cross of the sleeping phoenix, that's going to go all the way from 2027 into 2438. Something that's fascinating here is that a lot of people are talking about the age of Aquarius, and even though there are some things that are kind of like opening up the doors to that, according to Ra Uru Hu, the original messenger of the human design system, he actually says that the Aquarian age starts in 2439, which is going to be the chapter after the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which none of us alive today are ever going to witness unless we somehow find the elixir to be immortal. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video today is because there are a lot of ways that we've kind of like relied upon behaving in the world, certain things that we've really, again, taken for granted, certain structures, especially certain agreements, bargains, deals. You do this for me, I do this for you, collective structures where, well, if everybody just pitches in, then we're going to end up getting benefits. All of these things, look, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. You just look around, you can see whether it's government, whether it's the health system, whether it's the financial system, all of these things are starting to break down. And it's not because, it's because of this change in background frequency, because it will no longer support that. We're going from a very tribal and collective frequency to a very individual one. And what's been very interesting for me too is just listening to what people are saying around me. And there's this thing where everybody's like, people are getting so selfish. Why are people so selfish? They're only thinking about themselves. Well, look, I hate to be a Debbie Downer. I hate to be a wet blanket, a bearer of bad news, rain on your parade. But this coming era, because it is such a distinct shift in frequency, there might be a lot of you who are tribal, who are collective. By your very nature, you might be put off by it because it is so starkly different, not only to who you are, but also to what has been the background frequency. So, I mean, there's really no way around it that this coming era is going to be one where we're really going to be encouraged to operate from a place of enlightened selfishness. So that happens when we combine the ability to be in alignment with our own unique design and use that to be able to navigate the changes. People, all of us who exist, those of you who are tribal, who are collective, your design is not going to be changing. And you're not here to change your nature based on the new era. But the thing is that the way that you organize yourselves amongst yourselves might shift. You might end up kind of flocking towards, birds of a feather. And that's fine. Tribal people are always going to gravitate towards their tribe. Collective people are always going to be tuned into the collective. And of course, there's always going to be those of us who are just individual by nature and, the freaks, the freaks of the world just kind of doing their own thing. And so for them, maybe it's going to feel actually a lot more natural. So something that can really help to empower you, if you don't already know your design, is to really tune into the way that you're wired and the way that this coming era is wired, and really how to align yourself to your truth in a way that still allows you to move through the world with ease. Now, one of the big things that I wanted to talk about in today's video has to do with the signature of our respective types. And the way that I see this is that this is really our birthright. So if you're a manifester, if you're a generator or a manifesting generator, if you're a projector, if you're a reflector, whatever your type, whatever that signature is, even if you're completely new to human design and you just go on a software and you plug in your birth data, that signature there, this is really like what you're here to experience. And it's funny, sometimes I'm working with clients and they're like, yeah, but what's my purpose? And even though we do have a larger purpose, I also consider our signature to be truly our immediate purpose, what is the most kind of like the micro within the macro. And in many ways, because this is something that we are dealing with day in and day out of our lives, the more that we recalibrate our energy to be in alignment with our signature, the more that our signpost, which is really meant to be a contrast to help bring us back into alignment, something that we're going to talk about a little later. This is something that really helps us to access this birthright in the most organic way. So the manifestors in the world, somewhere between 8 and 10% of the population. I don't know exactly where the stats are at right now, but manifestors are here to experience peace. And this peace tends to come from having freedom of movement, just being able to be free to do what they need to do, when they need to do it, when they want to do it, people leaving them to do their thing. That's their jam. For the generators and manifesting generators, it's all about satisfaction. So using your energy in ways that are personally satisfying for you, tuning into that energetic availability. And that's what it is. And I remember having a generator client say to me, what do you mean? That's it? That's what my life is about? Satisfaction? And I was like, doesn't it feel incredible when you're actually channeling your energy into things that leave you feeling satisfied? And she said, yeah, actually, yes. So I said, it can be that simple. It can. For projectors, it's all about success. Now, this doesn't have to be financial, but what I have seen is that, okay, because this is really very much about sweetness and ease in our interactions. And when I'm a projector and I find that when I am really in alignment and I am creating those conditions for sweetness and ease in my interactions, the money is just there. I don't need to break my brain. It just shows up. For reflectors, they're here to be surprised. Reflectors are like like cosmic timekeepers. And there is this deep potential for awe in the reflector, like nobody else. And whereas the manifestors are about 10% of the population, the generators and manifesting generators, about 67% of the population, the projectors somewhere between 20 and 22% of the population, we've got our reflectors who are less than 2%. I think last I checked, it was maybe 1.45%. So they're a small slice and yet have this enormous capacity to just have this awe. So yeah, whatever your signature, this is really what you are here to experience. And so with this coming era, okay, with 2027, there is going to be, I guess you would say, almost like a big squeeze in terms of, how to say it? The way that we have been delegating, outsourcing our personal authority. And there has been a lot of pressure this last era about the tribe. There's been a lot of pressure about the collective. There's been a lot of pressure to not be selfish, to always love your neighbor, turn the other cheek, and to contribute to these kind of societal values that benefit everybody. And while those things aren't necessarily bad, please understand, human design is not meant to be a moralistic system, but it really is always showing us the many, 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 many layers of this and that. And in this coming era, what is going to empower each of us in our navigation of life is being able to take back our personal authority, knowing what it is that each of us can trust infallibly to allow for decisions to unfold from the right place within. So without even realizing, I mean, some of us have realized it, some of us not, it's so easy to outsource our personal authority, to give it up, to give it away to either other people in our life, whether it's to someone in our family, to our parents, to our children, to our lovers, to anybody else. It could also be to the tribe from a place of loyalty. It could also be to the collective for the greater good. And so again, this isn't, I'm really not slamming this. It can at times be correct, but at times it can also be something that is either imposed externally or internally. The most insidious, though, and which really underlies everything, is the way that we outsource our personal authority to the mind, So you can see here in my drawing, in my little images, that there's a swirling mind, and this is like the not self mind, and it's what happens when we're making mental decisions. And so we've got the individual, we've got the tribe, we've got the collective, and then we've got all of the places where we might have either open centers in our design. So some of us, our deepest conditioning comes from the open centers. And then there's some of us where it can really come from specific bridging gates in our design. If we have different areas, different islands of definition in our design that are separated and not linked fully together, we could blame ourselves. We could blame another person. We could blame the world. So there's all of these different ways that we can end up really being disempowered and making others responsible for the experience of our signature or lack thereof. So on top of making others responsible for that, I can't be fulfilled. I can't experience my peace, my satisfaction, my success, my surprise because of you, or, because of this thing that's wrong with me. So there can be that experience. And then there can also be chasing our signature with the mind. So here, I put together a little slide that's all about how we can make others responsible for our fulfillment, and also this mental chasing. So that little carrot on the stick that I had on the other side. So for manifestors, there could be this kind of narrative that says, well, I can't be at peace until this person acts this way, or unless this or that happens. And then there could be the mental chasing. Well, maybe if I do this, or maybe if I don't do this, I'll find peace. So instead of working with the organic way of accessing that signature, it's like these mental gymnastics and this engineering, either making people outside of us responsible for why. So manifestors say, I can't be at peace because of this situation or until that happens, putting it outside of themselves. And then also just relying on the mind to then get what the mind thinks that it wants, not realizing that it has infinite access to that from a place of just operating in alignment. So before I talked about the contrast, the signpost, the thing that really is there to serve you in being able to reorient autonomously when you get off track. So a manifestor could be like boiling with rage, either externalizing that anger, or oftentimes I've seen them literally implode with the anger of not feeling like they're free, which can, in some ways, be because they're making others responsible for their lack of peace, or they're chasing that peace mentally. So these are some ways in which the manifestor signpost of anger is not serving its purpose, because truly that anger is showing up because it's trying to show you where you might be operating out of alignment. So we're going to get to that stuff a little later. For the generators and manifesting generators, it's like the same thing, but it's just all about satisfaction. It's like, man, I can't be satisfied until this person does this for me, or this situation changes. It's like, oh, until I can manage to either get a new boss or find a new position, I just need to be miserable. Or again, relying on the mind to do or not do something in order to mentally chase that satisfaction. And so here, these are some ways in which your signpost of frustration really does not serve its purpose. For projectors, blaming our success, our lack of success on other people in our life. Well, I can't be successful until this person does that, or unless this happens. Oh, maybe if I do this, or if I don't do this, I'll find success. So for projectors, these are ways in which your signpost of bitterness might not be serving its purpose. And last but not least, the reflectors. And in many ways, the reflector signpost is really about disappointment. And they can really, really, really be so just mired in this disappointment. And again, it's like what needs to change outside of themselves, or what they do or don't do. It's all the same thing for each of us. It's just that there's different nuances. There are different nuances to the way that shows up. But what I'm sharing with you today is to try to show you that you don't need to be mired in your signpost. So whether you're a manifestor who's dealing with anger, whether you're a generator, manifesting generator dealing with frustration, a projector dealing with bitterness, a reflector dealing with disappointment, this is not something that you are here to transcend. And the thing is that when you're so conditioned and you're so used to operating out of alignment, it just becomes this annoying background frequency, like the smoke detector that's going off because you burnt a piece of toast, and it's not serving its true purpose, telling you that the house has burnt down. So I have a very short video about that. It's like a 20-minute video all about the whole purpose of your signpost that's really here to be your greatest ally in life. And again, it's to help you be able to reorient autonomously, not needing anybody outside of you to police you in order to get back on track. You are equipped with everything you need, everything you need. So when it comes to wielding our energy responsibly, so we have, back to this whole concept of this and that. One of the layers of this and that is that each and every one of us has our unique nature. So this is really what we broadcast 24/7, 365 days a year. It is our life force that is consistent and that is being broadcast into others and into the environment. It's fixed, it's reliable, it is what makes us unique. So this is on the left-hand side of the screen. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, as opposed to nature, so this and that, it's nature, we've got nurture. So whereas with our nature, we're broadcasting, we're transmitting, with nurture, this is the way that we are uniquely configured to take life in. Not all of us are here to be conditioned the same way, just as how each of us are a unique, differentiated person that is unlike anyone else. I mean, there might be similarities, but when you go into the deeper and deeper layers, we are each unique. So as opposed to our nature, which is fixed, reliable, and unique, our nurture is flexible, unreliable, and homogenizing. So this is, I mean, it's not inherently a bad thing. It really isn't. We are designed to take life in as much as we are designed to broadcast our true nature outwards. It's just that everything is about awareness, because it is only through becoming aware of the way that we're conditioned, the way that by taking things in, our organic decision-making process can literally get hijacked from us, and then we're not operating as ourselves. We get homogenized to be like everybody else instead of operating as our unique self in the world. So operating in alignment with our true nature and cultivating awareness as to what we take in allows us to wield our energy responsibly and to broadcast a clean frequency. So this is not like a clean, dirty type of a situation. It has to do with frequency and where frequency can get distorted. When our energy is distorted, I don't know if you've ever been to a concert and there's something off and it's like that screeching sound that's coming out of the amplifier, it makes you cringe. And I can attest 1000% that when my energy is distorted, it can really be cringeworthy. So as easy as it could be to be ashamed or to get upset, when we're not necessarily received in the best way, when we experience resistance in whatever way that resistance shows up for us, no, it is here to teach us. It is here to teach us. So with this coming era, it's almost like that bandwidth, that leeway that we had before, it's getting smaller and smaller, and there's going to be less and less, I guess you can say, just less leeway when it comes to operating out of alignment. I have another video where I think it's the one that I have about getting messy in your human design experiment. And there's this analogy of when we meet resistance, how sometimes it could be like a tiny snap of a little elastic band around your wrist, or it could be like a bigger pinch or a mega ouch. So resistance really, in many ways, it provides us with this really powerful feedback so that we can get into deeper alignment with who we are and to be more responsible of what it is that we are putting out. All we can do, okay, because I'm telling you, we are living in a completely not self world. And I've been in that movie of really being out of alignment and trying to tell everybody how to manage their energy. And I mean, I'm here for that guidance to those who tune in and who want that from me, as opposed to those who don't. I'm really starting to see who are the people who really are here for me to help them with versus who are just not those people for me. So in the last 5.5 years, it'll be 6 years this winter, a huge part of my deconditioning process has been about helping myself to wield my energy responsibly, seeing how in my lack of awareness, I have not wielded my energy responsibly and what has happened as a result. And this has nothing to do with anything that we owe anyone. It is really so that we are able to move through the world with greater ease as ourself. So all of this is about coming home to yourself, how to eliminate resistance and access your signature, your birthright, organically. So some of you may already be familiar with this, some of you may not, but the two major components with human design, I mean, in addition to understanding what your type is, the way that your aura operates, is about strategy and authority. And even though human design is by no means dogmatic, and I'm all about getting messy in the experiment, strategy and authority are, I mean, honestly, I feel like the most incredible opportunity, like a personal 10 commandments that one could ever have. Our strategy really allows us to move through the world with ease. I call this our personal law of gravity, because even though, according to Newton, the apple falls down from the tree, that is not the same for each of us. And when we get busy trying to keep up with the Joneses, do what everybody else is doing, it can really end up creating unnecessary resistance. So strategy helps you align to your personal natural law of gravity so that you can move through the world with ease. And while strategy in many ways, I consider it a guideline, because when you get messy, you gotta, if you're coloring in the lines too rigidly, sometimes you don't get the lessons that you need to really drive home why this information is valuable. Because human design, just like anything else, can be nothing but mind candy if you are not applying it practically. And sometimes you need that contrast. You need to screw up. You need to meet resistance so that it shows you how those mechanics work. You can have all the guides in the world. You can have all the teachers in the world. You can read all the things. You can watch all the things. But it is all about you putting it into practice with yourself. The one thing that I consider to be absolutely non-negotiable is our authority. And this is all about trustworthy decisions for yourself as yourself. And it's not so much a process of making decisions, it's about allowing those decisions to unfold from the right place for us. So this is something that, with best of intentions, can be this stealth homogenizing force in the collective where everybody's hopped up on taking these courses to perfect their intuition, or following their gut, or following their heart, where it is not a one size fits all. Each and every one of us has either an inner authority, something that we can trust inside of our body, or a personal process of authority. It's a process that exists for us where we can tune into what is true for us to what is correct for us through that process. So we are not here to be controlled. We are not here to follow some authority that's out there somewhere. And yet, we are also not here to mentally control our behavior, our vehicle, nor the territory, okay? So we're really here to be a passenger and to enjoy the ride. There is a force within each and every one of us that knows where to go, that knows the terrain, that knows the trajectory. When we stop being a backseat driver, we stop trying to steer towards the things that the mind thinks it wants to get, or the things breaking to avoid the things that the mind doesn't want. And we can just sit back and watch the journey through honoring our strategy and authority. Life can change in incredible and dramatic ways. So being responsible for the way that we wield our energy is possibly the greatest gift between now and this official cycle shift that you could come upon. Each of us, and I know I've said it in this presentation, I'm going to say it again, that each of us is equipped with the ability to reorient autonomously when we get off track. So as we wrap up, we've got some wise words from Ra. We're really dealing with tricky times. One of the most important things to grasp about what this knowledge is telling you, it's telling you an extraordinary truth. That truth is that we are not in any way prepared for what's going on. We're not. This is the thing to take in at the deepest, deepest level. We're not prepared. We can't be prepared. Think about the beauty of that in the context of human design. Everything about human design is designed for this coming age where you cannot rely on another, where you must rely on yourself, and that you do need to find within yourself a way to navigate on this plane without that reference. Now, think about how powerful this is when you take this away, because nobody is feeling this. The institutions are trying to claim that they can handle it based on their experience. Well, and it's not just about the economy after all. It's about understanding that we are in a situation now where there is a change that's coming that none of us are designed to be prepared for. We're not. And we're not going, and I speak of humanity as a whole, to take it calmly. Don't trust the past. There is nothing for us to trust in that. Nothing. Do not trust the future. You cannot. You trust yourself. And if you don't start doing it now, it's going to be too late. So I invite you to see that not as a threat, but as an invitation to get into deeper alignment with who you are, to be able to move through the world with greater ease and really live life as yourself. So thank you so much for those of you who made it this far. My greatest joy truly is working with those who value the importance of investing in their health, their well-being, their potential. And I really do have something practical to offer to those who may be struggling, facing challenges, unwell, ripe for change, looking for empowerment and direction, industry leaders, high achievers who are always on the lookout for a new edge, coaches and their clients to leverage their success with my particular skill set. So just know that my door is open to you if and when the time is right to connect. You've got my website there. Eventually, the new one will go up. In the meantime, my contact information, I can be reached through there. And yeah, I mean, bottom line, did you enjoy this video? Would you like to explore further? And for me, my message is always best received by word of mouth. So if you did enjoy this, you have my blessing to share with whoever you think could benefit. And until next time, take care.